Well, it is 4 in the morning and I am sitting here in my car. Why am I in my car at 4 a.m.? I can't sleep. I have a really big week ahead and I'm like a nervous wreck about it. And I don't really want to wake up Brian now because I need Brian to get his rest so that he can drive us to Rochester today. So it is, what is today? Wednesday, November 30th. And this is going to be a big week. First of all, I owe you guys an explanation of why my face looks like this. And that will be coming later in this video, don't worry. But tomorrow I have a PET scan, which apparently there's a whole procedure for preparing like what you're supposed to eat the day before. So I'm trying to figure out like what I'm going to actually eat today. And I'll show you what I end up eating. But PET scan tomorrow, blood work tomorrow, visit with the doctor tomorrow. Then Friday I have my last chemo appointment, my last scheduled. It may not be my last ever, but my last of the 6 that were scheduled. And then I also on Friday have a meeting with the surgeon about my potential surgery. So it's a really big week this week. And I am honestly just kind of like a nervous wreck. I've been laying in bed for the last hour, just having all the thoughts up and down the scale of all the things I need to worry about, from just little details of things that I need to worry about. And the light just went off on the house. So hold on, I'm going to come back. Okay. I opened and closed the door and the light is now back on the house, which is helping. I'm trying not to wake up anybody, including Brian. But anyway, it's also freezing out here. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's very cold. Yeah. So, a lot of stuff going on this week. I forgot where I was and where I left off, but I'm going to take you guys along as much as I can for all of the just adventures. Oh yeah, I was talking about my brain just going up and down the spectrum of like all the things that logistically I need to do, but also all the things that could happen from these scans and the consultation and going into my last chemo and not wanting to get chemo again. Like all the things are flooding in my head at this very moment. So I'm going to go back inside, try to get some more sleep, and then we're going to get up pretty early and head off to Rochester. All right. So we didn't get going quite as early as we were planning. It's like, what, 11:30 now?
Yeah.
But we are on the road. We are heading toward Rochester. We still have about 7 hours of driving ahead of us, but we will get there.
Eventually.
So I was talking last night, or I guess this morning.
It was definitely this morning.
About how I had to eat specific stuff today in order to prepare for my PET scan. They gave me some instructions, which I'll put here so you guys can read what they told me.
Yep.
But basically I need to do a low carb kind of eating today, and so which can be kind of difficult with plant-based. So what I ended up getting was I went to the salad bar. I'll show you a little close-up of what I got, but I got some just greens and raw veggies, non-starchy veggies, and I also got a bag of cauliflower to go with it because I figured I could munch on that just raw like later if I wanted to, and I added some to my salad as well. But I also got this dressing, which normally we do oil-free, but this was just like in a pinch on the road trying to figure out what I could possibly eat today. This dressing has no carbs and it's plant-based, so I went with it. Not the greatest choice for me, but it just is what it is.
I mean, you got to follow what the instructions say so it doesn't mess with the PET scan and all of that. And you know, I don't know how they're going to get you to get the stuff. You know, sometimes you drink, sometimes they do IV, whatever it is, but they put that stuff in you that's basically sugar with some type of thing. I don't know what quite it is. And then that stuff gets absorbed by the cancer and it glows whenever they do the PET scan. And so that's what's going to happen. So they don't want you eating a lot of carbs and that kind of stuff before you get the PET scan done. So trying to eat low carb, plant-based, it's actually quite difficult.
Yes. So honestly, I'm just feeling really anxious right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not feeling like myself at all. I feel super anxious about everything ahead. Like, I don't want to go to Rochester. I don't want to do any of this. I kind of just want to like curl up in a ball and like go back to bed and just pretend I don't exist.
Yeah.
But we have to do it. We have to go through the motions. So I guess we better get on the road.
Yep, let's hit it. Well, we are currently stopped in Coralville, Iowa. It's about the halfway mark between St. Louis and Rochester. And we stopped at a place that we really like to stop at called the New Pioneer Food Co-op, right?
Yes, they always have a lot of really good vegan options for us while we're on the road back and forth to Rochester.
Yeah.
But for my eating, these are the things that I found that I could eat today with my restrictions. You guys are going to be super excited if you are longtime viewers of ours that I'll be eating a can of green beans.
She was so excited too. She's like, I have green beans that I can eat.
I mean, and it has this top so I can just like remove it. So I'm just going to eat them straight out of the can. And if you watched our gas station challenge video, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The other thing I'm going to eat is some tofu, which they have some like, it's spiced tofu. It has, you know, like it's just like flavored with some spices and some tamari and stuff like that. So I feel like this should be pretty good for my low carb, plant-based eating day.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to get some protein in as well according to the instructions, so this will give me some protein as well.
Man, I know it's kind of a weird thing to be thrown into, but I kind of want to experiment, like trying to actually eat lower like this just for a little bit, just to actually see how feasible it actually is.
It's kind of difficult.
It's really difficult.
Do the low carb plant based,
especially because we didn't really plan ahead for it.
If we'd planned ahead, we could have figured it out. But it's just You're like glowing.
I'm glowing here. Maybe I can block the.
You're glowing.
Maybe I can block the sun a bit.
Also,
there.
I feel like this would be a good chance to tell them what happened to my face.
Yes, explain to them what happened. I did not do anything. Nothing I did.
Well, that's questionable.
That's not true. I was the one that put into.
You just.
I started the chain of events.
Yes. Okay. So what happened was Brian's car was getting fixed and I had to drive him to get his car. So then I was like, oh, let's go get car washes because we took my car on the trip this time. So I was like, I'll go like vacuum my car out and all that. I had the dogs in their kennels in the back of my car. So Ollie's in his kennel, just being Ollie. And Brian actually had to go back to the shop where he got his car fixed because he noticed that his windshield was cracked.
Which it wasn't
before he got it fixed. So I was like, you get your car washed and you go back to there. And like, he left me alone for like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Sorry, my tofu just
2 minutes.
2 minutes. No, he left me alone for like 2 minutes and this is what I did to myself. So what I did was I was like, oh, well, I'll vacuum because under the dog kennels that are in the back seat, when, that we put them in when we're driving around, sometimes like fur accumulates. So I was like, oh, I'll lift up the kennel, vacuum under it, but I set the kennel down. So Ollie's in the kennel. I picked it up, I set it down and I put it on the ground. Now, what happened was somebody put Ollie in the kennel earlier and didn't latch the door properly all the way. That's where Brian comes into play. And so Ollie runs out of the kennel. So he's running through the parking lot of this car wash toward a really busy road. It's like 4 lanes plus a middle lane, I guess 5 lanes total.
And Ollie is not the type of dog to actually listen to you.
Oh no, he will not come back. He doesn't even have his leash on or anything. And so he's just running across there. So I am freaking out. And I had about 10 seconds at which I could have like captured him if I had noticed like 10 seconds earlier, I could have captured him and he wouldn't have realized that he was free and he could run anywhere, but didn't grab him in those 10 seconds. So he is running and he runs toward the car wash. I think he's going to go in the road and I'm like freaking out. I'm running toward him. I completely lose my balance and totally like almost trip and like dive head first into the concrete with my face.
Yeah.
So that is why I have all these bruises and weird scabs and marks and everything, because that was like 2 days ago.
Why you're wearing different glasses.
Yes, I also ruined my glasses.
Ruined her glasses.
My glasses have, we can show you a picture of that too. They have scratches all down the center of the lens. Luckily I had an older pair that the prescription's not that far off, so I'm wearing those. But this part hurts the worst, like right above my lip.
It looks
I
the
also
worst,
had
too.
like a swollen lip. We can show you more pictures of what it looked like when it just happened. If you guys are interested in that kind of thing, you can see those pictures. But it definitely is not what I needed the week like leading up to me getting like chemo and going to doctor's appointments.
You were already getting anxious and stuff to begin with.
Yeah, and I feel like I was like in shock after it happened, almost like when you get in a car accident. But somehow I didn't do anything to my teeth. My teeth are fine, which is a miracle because I swear I felt my teeth like grind against the pavement. And then I still had to get up and go chase Ollie because Ollie's meanwhile still running around like I have no idea. So he turned the corner and I couldn't see him anymore. So he'd either gone to the road or he'd gone into the car wash, which it's like one of those long car washes where you put your car on the track.
And it drives through it.
He ran into the car wash. So Ollie's running through the car wash. Luckily, there's no cars getting washed at the time, so it wasn't like running. And he just ran down the side. And there's two employees of the car wash standing there. And I'm like screaming, help, help. And I'm like bloody and I look a mess. But I was like, grab him. He will keep running. And the one guy picked him up and he, whatever. Then the guy came up to me at the car wash and he's just like, are you okay? And I'm like, at this point, I think my teeth are completely like, total, like I've got chipped teeth or teeth missing, something crazy. And so they let me go in their office and I went into their bathroom and looked in the mirror and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's bad, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. And then she called me. I came flying back.
Oh yeah, I called you. I'm like, you need to come back. Ollie got loose. Duh.
Yeah. And I walk in and, the only thing she told me was that she was in the office getting cleaned up. She didn't tell me that she fell, or if she did, I didn't hear it. So I think Ollie got loose. Maybe she fell, got a little dirty or something like that. I walk into the office and there she is like this and like blood coming off of her face and stuff. And I'm just like, oh God, what happened? and like, I started just like, I don't know what I was thinking at that point, but I was like, do you want to go to urgent care? Do you want to
Well, then I thought about going to urgent care because I was like, I don't know if I've what I've done to myself. And then I thought, well, urgent care is a really bad place for me to go with people who have the flu and COVID and God knows what else. With my immune system being low from chemo and I'm just like, okay, let's just go home. So, but then I saw it. I was bawling my eyes out because I was I was a mess and it was awful. I also kind of hurt my knee a little bit,
your shoulder,
and my shoulder and
your hands.
My hands, you can kind of see the remnants of where it's kind of bruised there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty much a disaster. But the thing is, it could have been so much worse. Ollie's safe.
Yep.
Ollie didn't go into traffic. I didn't have to chase Ollie into traffic, and who knows what would happen to me or him. And I didn't do any permanent damage that I can tell. My teeth are intact. That's the main miracle of the whole thing. But it's really just not what I needed this week.
No, it isn't.
But before we get back on the road, I wanted to tell you guys in the meantime, things are always happening. So since we last talked,
yes,
I had a phone call from Mayo Clinic. They are looking to schedule me for surgery actually December 29th potentially.
Which is about 4 weeks after.
I've got
4 weeks from now.
Yeah, 4 weeks from when I get my chemo. They're looking and we have the consultation with the surgeon this Friday, which like I told you earlier. But I now have all these other appointments that they're scheduling. They want to do an ultrasound and they want to do another MRI before I have the surgery. So we have a lot of stuff getting added to the schedule. So of course my anxiety is also just escalating. So I'm gonna eat my green beans and my
your
tofu because I can't even like eat my feelings away today. Like, but I'm gonna do that, and Brian is gonna, I don't know what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna keep driving. Get us up there.
And get us, we have about like, I don't know, what, 3.5 hours?
About 4. Almost 4, yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll be in Rochester tonight, and yeah.
That's where we're at. So, to be continued, on to the next destination.
Well, we finally made it to our hotel. So, hi, Brian.
Hi.
I'm going to crash for the night. I'm exhausted. It's been an emotionally exhausting day for me. It's just, I'm anxious. Yeah. So, I'm going to sleep. But I did eat some more. I ate the rest of the cauliflower. I steamed it in the microwave here in the hotel. And then I added in some more tofu, of that same tofu. I just chopped it up and put it in there. And then I was just like, I didn't have the energy to go to a grocery store and get anything else. So I just ate that, and then I'll eat another meal after I get the PET scan tomorrow. Good morning. It is December 1st. I can't believe it's December. We are in the hotel, obviously, as you can see, and we are getting ready for the morning. I have to be at Mayo Clinic at 9 for my PET scan, which I'm not really looking forward to doing it or getting the results. Very nervous. I also have blood work today, and I have an appointment with the doctor, but it's actually really what we like to call a winter wonderland. It snowed a few inches the other day here in Rochester, so you can see, look how pretty the snow is. Yay. But we need to get going and get ourselves over to Mayo Clinic.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of look like a boxer, like after a fight, especially with the hood up and everything.
Leave me alone.
I wasn't making fun of you.
It's cold here, people.
It's really cold.
What is it like? It was like 16 degrees
this
Fahrenheit this morning.
It's in the teens in the Fahrenheit.
But it's got the wind going too, so it's just really cold. So there wasn't really much to film at the hospital, so we actually are on a little break between appointments right now, so we thought we would update you guys on what's happened so far today. So I went in for my PET scan, and basically they just brought me back. They gave me like an IV with like the whatever
the radioactive
sugar thing they inject you with. They injected that. The injection of that took like 30 seconds, and then they basically just make you stay still. So they have you in this like recliner that kind of leans back, and you are just supposed to stay still for like, I think 50 minutes total, like 50, like almost an hour. And you're not supposed to move, and you can't use your phone or anything during that time, because basically even like using your muscles just to hold up your phone, they say, could like impact the results of the scan. So it's very strange. You're just in this room alone with your thoughts, and they turn out the lights and you just relax. But it went by quicker than I thought it would. And then they took me back for the scan, and
it was some kind of special
so
PET CT scan thing that they've got.
So they have at Mayo the first in North America PET Quadro machine was installed back in like September, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a PET CT scanner that they don't have to like move you back and forth. Like they just move you in. You're in there for about 8 minutes. It like scans your whole body, and then they move you out. So it really didn't take too long. Like as I was reading online, it was like people saying, oh, you had to lay there for 40 minutes or some craziness or like whatever. But it was 8 minutes. But yeah, it's like it's some new PET CT technology that's also supposed to be like better for diagnosing stuff.
Yeah,
too.
They said it's like it's real precise. Like they can see like vascular movement and stuff, and like it was incredibly fascinating looking at the little snippet about the device. But I mean, they're always making advancements in technology, so
yeah. So I did that, and then I was reunited with Brian. And then we went to go get my blood work done. So that's my blood work prior to getting chemo tomorrow. So we'll just check my blood counts, make sure everything's in order for me to get my chemo tomorrow.
Yeah.
So right now we have a little bit of a break. We have about an hour and a half until my next appointment, which is with the doctor. So hopefully, maybe we'll get the PET scan results before then and we can go over them with her, but I'm not sure. I'm waiting with like nervous anticipation for like the notification that it's ready to pop up on my screen of my phone, because usually that's how things happen these days. But yeah, so I'm kind of like exhausted physically and emotionally. I know I've said that.
You didn't sleep well last night.
I didn't sleep well at all last night. I don't know. You would think that these things would get easier the more times we come up here, the more time, like appointments I have, but it doesn't get easier. I think it gets harder sometimes. So, just kind of trying to hang in there and get through this chemo tomorrow. But, we will definitely update you guys if we hear whatever we talk about with the doctor. So
yeah, we did also meet a nice fan.
Oh yeah, we met
too.
a fan. We met somebody who actually recognized us from YouTube, and she's like, she was at Mayo Clinic, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All in all, I mean, it's just we're progressing along. I mean, there's not much else to do except just
checking the boxes, getting the appointments
stepping
done.
forward.
Yeah, so.
I mean, nobody said on this grand adventure that each step would be fun, but each step is another one.
And hopefully more information that can help. We
yes.
hope. So we'll see what they learned, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we know.
Yep. So on to the next step.
Well, I look more like Rudolph now.
Red nose.
My little scabs that had started forming started kind of flaking off, and I also just put some Neosporin on there, so it's all like shiny now.
Yeah.
But it's healing nicely.
Yeah, it's healing real fast.
This bruise is still.
That's gonna be there for a little bit.
But anyway, we are here because we forgot to kind of update you. Well, we didn't really forget.
We were just super tired.
Exhausted after the doctor's appointment. And going through, we did get the results of the PET scan. We actually got them while we were in the co-op, just doing our grocery shopping, and it popped up on my phone like I said it would. And it was really overwhelming because there's just a lot of just acronyms and like doctor language and all kinds of stuff that we didn't understand. So looking at it, it was really overwhelming. But I was like, you know what? We have less than an hour till we meet with the doctor. Let's just go over it with her and like not try to dissect it ourselves too much. But what is your take on the PET scan?
So my take is that they found some of the things that they were looking for that they thought were going to be there, but some of the other stuff they thought they might find, they didn't find, which is really good. But then again, I mean, when we did ask the doctor about, so what were like your expectations of this, she was like, I had zero expectations. And because Jessica's case has just always been weird, everything that they've looked for, they couldn't find what they were looking for.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, so each and every scan is a new surprise waiting to be unwrapped. And
so let's start with well, actually my nose lit up. So I am Rudolph. She actually said that you could see kind of some of the impacts from my face, like
because the body's healing itself, and so when the body is healing itself, there's a lot more activity going on. And with a PET scan, it goes to where there is cellular activity. A lot of people think that a PET scan, like, oh, it just goes to where the cancer is. No, it goes to anywhere where there is like fast cellular activity. So your kidneys light up, your bladder lights up, your liver kind of like glows at a constant rate. Same thing with like your ovaries, like they will glow at a constant sort of level, because there's a certain level of cellular activity going on. So when the scanner went through that little region right there on her face, it was like, ping!
So, but they didn't even note that on the notes at all. But she could see it when she showed us like the top down view. Like she's like, okay, let's start with the top of your head and go down. Like your lungs are fine. So the liver, which has been such a big like back and forth, the liver was on that little like SUV index that they use for the I don't know if it's an index, but I call it an index.
It's an index.
It's like a color. It goes from like blue, green up to like red at the top. So red is bad.
Not necessarily, because your bladder is red.
Yeah,
when it shows up.
When it's finding cancer, red is bad. Red is the worst. And the liver was just kind of this blue-green kind of glow, which is what they expect from the liver.
That's normal.
There weren't any like spots that showed up and like glowed or lit up any worse than what they would expect.
Yeah.
So does that mean that I never like had cancer in my liver? Does that mean the chemo has just cleaned it up enough to where it's not lighting up? But then why do I have these keratin granulomas in my liver? That's what she's kind of, so it, again, we just don't know.
We have no clue.
But we're still thinking that the liver surgeon is going to get involved at some point to look at it while I'm having my surgery.
Yeah.
So, but for right now, the liver was good news in the PET scan because we didn't find anything lighting up that was like bad news. But that doesn't necessarily clear me of the idea that it could have at some point metastasized to my liver. So every time I get results, it's kind of like
it's not what is really expected.
We can't, it can't confirm things, but we still can't rule out things.
Yeah.
So we're really hoping that this surgery is going to give us a really good picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
The other things that then as you go down, there were a lot of like smaller areas like lymph nodes, and there's even the other, in my right ovary, there's a mass that's kind of in there that they did say is actually smaller even from the CT scans that I had in October, which is good. And it didn't glow like super crazy bright. There was nothing that was like crazy, but the worst one was like around my uterus kind of area on the left side, which could be that area that the original surgeon wasn't able to remove all the cancer from, around the ureter kind of area. So could be that's it, but it's in the area where the original mass was. You know, is that more cancer cells coming back? Like, we don't know. Who knows? What else?
I just kind of figured that it was like, the way I put it was that we didn't get great news, but we didn't get bad news. We just kind of like got, an update.
More information.
More information.
More pieces of the puzzle.
And more information that will be given to the surgeons so they can do their job better. So they know precisely where to go, where to look for things, what to do, and what to get tested. And once the surgery is done, then they're gonna, you know, have all of this stuff that they can send to pathology, that they can send for genetic testing, that they can send like for whatever they need. And it's like, and we've got a better picture on what's actually been going on and all of that. But I think that even with what we talked about with the doctor today, that we are hopeful for the next steps, in that we do believe, I firmly believe, that you are going to be cured of this. And you know, it's gonna go through a lot of bad stuff to get there, but I firmly believe that you are going to be clear of this.
I have a lot of hope, but I can't.
You can't get your hopes too high.
I can't let my hopes get too high, because, and I think the doctor's kind of the same. Like, she doesn't want to, like, she doesn't want to like overpromise, like, hey, we're gonna be able to do this, because everything's been so weird.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just don't know what's gonna happen, but we have a lot of tools in the kit. We have a lot of like good doctors on our side, and yeah. But as far as the PET scan goes, I can kind of see now why, too, seeing the results, like why they favor the CT scan for the kind of cancer that I have.
Yeah.
Because you definitely get like a way more detailed picture of it. But again, every time we get news, I feel like we don't get great news, but we don't get bad news.
Yeah.
So it's like somewhere in the middle. But I think we got to get to bed.
We do have to get to bed. We got a super early morning
We got like
tomorrow.
a 5:30 a.m. alarm because I got to get to chemo super early tomorrow. And I think we're going to call it for this part of the video and then do a part 2 where I'll go through my final chemo tomorrow. And also we'll meet with the surgeon. So we'll have lots of details on what they're expecting to do for surgery.
Yeah.
And all that stuff as well. So for this part...
you can subscribe to the channel if you want to keep track of what we are doing on here. Click the bell that is right next to it and you'll get notified whenever we post a new video. You can also find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. And if you follow us on there, you generally will find out about things sooner than you will on the YouTube channel.
Like
mainly
me
stuff like this.
smashing my face into concrete.
Then you get the scoop before the YouTube world gets it, you know? But I think that's all I got for part 1.
That's definitely all I got.
All right, we will see you next time on Crocks in the hotel room.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hello there. I'm back. So I kind of forgot that Peef wanted to tell you that he's very upset because he was not in that video.